Missing out on Yoshinobu Yamamoto absolutely sucks for the Yankees, who are looking to add a true frontline ace at just 25 years old, but that doesn't mean that the team can't assemble a pitching staff that ranks towards the top of the league. It will require the team to take risks in their rotation to shore up the back end, and most importantly, rely on Carlos Rodon to look like an ace again, but these 5 options could be linked to the Yankees over the next few weeks to bolster their rotation. Hello everybody, I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and before we get into today's video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know of our next upload. We're uploading podcasts daily, and we have content that you guys do not want to miss out on, so make sure you join the Fireside family today and get caught up on all things Yankees related. And with that out of the way, let's get into today's video. Let's get things started with the other top international starter, and that's Shōta Imanaga, and the Yankees have been linked to him even before Yamamoto signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The 30-year-old left-hander went 7-4 with a 2.80 ERA across 22 starts this past season, logging 148 innings and striking out 174 batters in the process. Imanaga is known for his ability to get swings and misses and attack the zone, and as a result, he's become one of the top pitchers on the market. He's expected to get a contract similar to the one Kodai Senga signed last winter at 5 years, $75 million, and while there's some risk involved here, Imanaga could be a welcome addition to the middle of the Yankee rotation going forward. A huge question here is that Imanaga allowed the most home runs in the MPB last season at 17, and seeing how much better the power numbers here are in the United States, there's certainly an adjustment that Imanaga will have to make. Like any pitcher, there are questions about how he'll adjust to the American League East, and perhaps this just isn't the park environment that best suits a heavy fly ball arm, but if the Yankees can make the tweaks necessary for Imanaga to reduce the home runs and avoid the middle of the zone more, he'll be a great addition to their staff. As the Yankees look to add starting pitching, making moves like the one for Shōta Imanaga could greatly boost their staff, even with the risks we just talked about. There's an inherent downside to every pitcher on this list, and that's the gamble you take when delving into a position group where injuries are common and unpredictable. We don't know if Imanaga will hold up for 30 starts, and that's the reality of acquiring starting pitchers in this climate, especially with the pitch clock shrinking to 18 seconds with a runner on. We'll have to see how Imanaga would adapt to that, but what you're banking on is justifiable here. Shōta Imanaga had the best stuff plus in the entire World Baseball Classic tournament, and the upside here is legit. He generates swings and misses at an unreal rate, and could be a slightly better version of what Nestor Cortez is when he's healthy. The low slot fastball from a unique angle, coupled with his excellent sweeper and splitter, make him a legitimate middle of the rotation option. But if the Yankees get the outcome where he's just a home run machine, they'll have an expensive project arm that could sink their season. Steer projects him for a 2.6 WAR this upcoming year, and while he has a wider range of outcomes due to the fact that he's never pitched in Major League Baseball before, if you're getting a sub-4 ERA pitcher, that's a pretty big upgrade, and people should be really happy if that's what they get. But with that being said, let's move on to our next free agent option. The next pitcher we have is Jordan Montgomery, another southpaw in this market who could certainly bolster the Yankees pitching staff as well. He had the second most innings pitched in the game once you account for the postseason last year, but his regular season performance was excellent as well. Gumby went 10-11 for a 3.20 ERA across 32 starts, logging a career-high 188.2 innings pitched, and bolstering the Rangers' rotation mightily. Montgomery checks off every box for the Yankees. He's a durable starter with experience in New York and excellent postseason numbers, but there's one massive issue. Jordan Montgomery is asking for a 6-year, $160 million deal, which he has every right to ask for, and the Yankees are likely not to match that number. That being said, if his market falls more towards $140 or $150 million over 6 seasons, I would definitely do that for Jordan Montgomery. There are plenty of teams still in need of starting pitching though, so perhaps his market's going to go up instead of down, and if they do drive up the price more, it's unlikely the Yankees are going to be the team that signs him, but he would still be a huge upgrade for the Yankees if they can land him. His pitch mix platoons well to both lefties and righties, and he has stellar command of his entire arsenal. His sinker is a reliable pitch for generating soft contact on the ground, and he's continued to see gains in his velocity there, with over 93 miles per hour on his sinker this past season, and his four-seamer is still an effective pitch to right-handed hitters when he needs to get a chase above the zone. His changeup and curveball both sport whiff rates over 30%, and I overall believe that Jordan Montgomery is a pitcher that would give the team stability at the top of the rotation, which they sorely need. His downside is the lack of strikeouts that you're accustomed to seeing for pitchers who make north of $20 million a season and get these mega deals, and that's certainly a concern when you're aiming to build a sustainably great rotation for the long term. One of the Yankees' biggest strengths when looking at their organization is developing arms who can get swings and misses, and Monty goes against that grade. It doesn't mean that Yankees and Montgomery aren't a roster fit, it just means that they might not be a financial one. However, as mentioned earlier, if it's $140 to $150 million, the Yankees could get a serious upgrade at the top of the rotation for a pretty decent price. Jordan Montgomery averages around 3 WAR a season, and he hasn't deviated much from it until this past year where he had 4.3 WAR, so it's important to note that you're getting a player who's consistently going to match that $20 to $25 million of annual average salary, and I think that makes him a really good purchase on the market. With that being said though, the big thing here in my opinion is the innings. You're getting a guy who's going to throw 180 to 190 innings every season and be ready for the postseason, which is something that you really don't see with starters nowadays. And overall, I think this is a nice addition to give the Yankees a stable number 3 starter and a running mate for Gerrit Cole for the long term. Shifting towards the trade market, we have Shane Bieber, who won the 2020 AL Cy Young Award, but has regressed mightily this past season and didn't look the same compared to his 2019 to 2022 dominant run. While Bieber posted a 2.91 ERA and a 24.8% strikeout to walk percentage across those 4 seasons, this past year, the 28-year-old saw his ERA spike to 3.80 across the 128 innings, and while he still worked deep into games and still finished with an ERA better than league average, but the strikeouts dissipated and the velocity decline following 2020 reared its ugly head. Bieber showed the ability to be a workhorse, but following elbow inflammation this past season, there's more doubt about his durability now than there ever was before. Another massive question is whether the velocity will present a roadblock he can't overcome, as while he had a sub-3 ERA and was a Cy Young vote getter in 2020 with diminished velocity, he is another year older and has gone through a pretty notable injury. He'll be working at driveline this winter, where you expect he's seeking some velocity gains, but that's not a guarantee at all either. What he has working for him is a strong connection with Matt Blake, who he credits for helping him break out in 2019 with increased reliance on his curveball. If Bieber is healthy and the medicals are fine, I think he'll be an effective starter in 2024, and projections still view him as a reliable 2 or 3 starter. Steer projects Bieber for a 3.92 ERA and a 2.9 FWAR, which would certainly help the Yankees as they look to bolster their rotation with arms who can mop up innings for them effectively. Shane Bieber has 2 excellent breaking balls that carry his profile, and if he's able to get back to relying on them throughout the season, we could see a pitcher who ends up with over 3 FWAR once again. With just 1 year left in his deal, he shouldn't cost much on the trade market, and this is a perfect flyer for the Yankees to take in the middle of the rotation for the upcoming season. I don't love that you'd have to rely on a pitcher who has seen their strikeout rate go down every year, but I also believe any pitcher on this market comes with an asterisk. In Bieber's case, he's just $12 million towards the luxury tax, won't clean out the farm for the Yankees, and wouldn't preclude them from signing another depth arm to bolster their rotation, or even sign another arm for their bullpen. He's not flashy, but he might be the Goldilocks option for the Yankees, as the next 2 pitchers on this list are far more pricey on the trade market. Dylan Cease is one of the hottest commodities on the trade market, and that's despite coming off of a disappointing season in 2023. One of the hardest throwers in the league, Dylan Cease went 7-9 with a 4.58 ERA, striking out 27.3% of batters faced across 177 innings, but he also had a 10.1% walk rate. A 3.72 FIP suggests he should have been better, but the issue with Cease is that he's limited in his volume by his command, as he averaged just 5.1 innings per start, which doesn't cut it for an ace. Getting a 5-and-dive arm and trading multiple top 100 prospects to do so isn't great, but perhaps the Yankees could lower the price paid by attaching a bad contract like Yoán Moncada. The idea would be that Dylan Cease pitches closer to his Cy Young form and is able to pair alongside Gerrit Cole as one of the best duos in baseball, but that does rely on the Yankees making some improvements to his command and mechanics to achieve that sort of outcome. Dylan Cease lost a tick of velocity on his fastball, and as a result, saw a stuff plus drop from 120 to 115 from 2022 to 2023, and with how the pitch clock was implemented, one could worry that it played a role in his pitches getting worse. His slider took a massive hit, going from one of the best pitches in baseball in terms of run value to just pretty good, and that was enough to diminish his strikeout rate and run prevention. Teams still feel that they're getting a pitcher with ace upside, and the White Sox are valuing him based on that incredible season, but I wouldn't advise paying that price for Dylan Cease. The Yankees would likely have to part ways with 2 top 100 prospects at the very least, and that's alongside 2 or 3 more pieces most likely, in order to land a pitcher who wasn't just unlucky, but actually had some legitimate skill regressions from the year prior. I think Dylan Cease is still one of the better pitchers in the American League, but he doesn't have those same ace qualities that other top arms in the league do. While his stuff is great, his ability to go deep into games is questionable at best, and the Yankees would prefer to land a guy who checks off all those boxes if they're going to pay that type of price. He's going to cost the price of a Cy Young winner without the track record to suggest he's a Cy Young frontrunner going forward, but if the Yankees like his profile and they think they can improve him, by all means go ahead and get him. The upside here is still unbelievable and the stuff is still really good. It's just a question of number one, can he pitch deeper into games, and number two, is he gonna get that tick in mile per hour back from 2023? I know I sound picky, I know I sound like I'm acting as if Dylan Cease doesn't help the Yankees, which he would, but if you're paying a price that includes gutting your farm system, I'm absolutely going to be picky about who that player is, and I think the Yankees are as well. The final pitcher on this list is the one that makes the most sense from a roster fit perspective, and that's Corbin Burnes. The 2021 NL Cy Young winner also took a step back this past season, but he was still one of the best pitchers in the sport. Burnes went 10-8 with a 3.39 ERA across 193 1/3 innings pitched, but those are the two numbers I want to heavily emphasize here. Burnes was 11th in innings pitched and 14th in ERA, making him one of the few pitchers in baseball who could be effective and durable. Since his breakout season in 2021, Corbin Burnes is 4th in innings pitched with a 2.93 ERA, and he's consistently been a guy that you could rely upon to get you into the 6th or 7th inning. Paired with Garrett Cole, these two would form the best starting pitcher duo in baseball, and while the price would still be high, it's certainly still an option worth exploring. Perhaps the Yankees are still able to headline a deal with Everson Pereira and Oswald Peraza, but I imagine the Brewers would have their sights set on top of the line pitching prospects like Chase Hampton as well. For that reason, I believe the Yankees won't end up with Corbin Burnes, but I still view him as an option they should monitor throughout the winter. He fits this team like a glove. He possesses the volume of a guy like Jordan Montgomery, but he brings the upside and strikeout stuff that a guy like Dylan Cease or Shōta Imanaga have. Unlike those two, he doesn't have the command or quality of contact issues, and while both he and Bieber are both former Cy Young winners coming off of seasons where they had lower strikeout rates, Bieber regressed to more of a 4-starter, Burnes remained a Cy Young candidate and an ace caliber pitcher. Corbin Burnes would give the Yankees a jolt to their rotation that would rival the one Yamamoto would have brought, something that cannot be said about the other pitchers on this list. I still view him as an unrealistic option, but if the Yankees were somehow able to pull off this trade without losing a guy like Chase Hampton, they would be in an excellent spot to win the American League in 2024. They already have the best projected win percentage among all American League East teams, and Burnes would likely push them further ahead of the pack. What holds me back is the prospect price, as while you don't want to let unproven talent hold you back from making championship moves, you also don't want to mortgage your future going forward. Corbin Burnes is a one-year rental, and it's unclear whether one, he'll be willing to sign an extension, or two, whether the Yankees are willing to pay him that kind of money. This would be a move that does make the Yankees, however, a clear-cut favorite in the American League, but it's also one that seems unlikely following the trade for Juan Soto, another rental who's going to cost a lot of money to retain at the end of the season. It's a matter of the fit being great, but the price not being right, although they do have the infield talent to at least get a conversation started between the two sides. I'm sure the Yankees will check in, but I doubt that they're going to get a deal done, barring a shift in mentality from the front office to gut their farm, or potentially the need for an infielder like Oswald Peraza, or a bat like Ben Rice, or an arm like Clark Schmidt, exceeding the Brewers' desire to compete for 2024 and drawing them to a trade with the Yankees. The Yankees could trade for Corbin Burnes as a true rental. They don't have to extend him to make the deal worth it, but at the same time, the Yankees are taking a bit of a risk, and they are going all in that regard, and it still would cause them to have a little bit of a worse farm system. Corbin Burnes is an elite, true number one caliber pitcher, but we'll have to wait and see if the two sides can match up. Thank you guys for sticking through for the entire video. We greatly appreciate your guys' support. And if you enjoyed today's video and want more content like this, we have all of this on our Fireside Yankees socials. We have a Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube page. We're trying to hit 20,000 on the TikTok. We've already surpassed 20,000 on Twitter, but we want to get to 30K at some point. So hey, if you guys can help us out on those fronts, that would be great. Links are all in the description. And of course, you guys can check out Empire Sports Media for written content on all of your favorite New York sports teams. Thank you once again for sticking by. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.